Maddie hurtled out the front door, a partially eaten sandwich in one hand, and careered straight into her Aunt Ruby. "I know you're pleased to see me, dear, but aren't you too old to fly into my arms?" Maddie rescued her sandwich from a rhododendron bush and elbowed the door to stop it clicking shut. "Meeting some friends for a movie," she said, hugging her aunt. "Are you staying for dinner? I'll catch you tonight." "Wait a minute," Ruby said. "I've got something for you. And no, I won't be here long. I have a flight in an hour." Ah, such timing, thought Maddie. But a visit from Aunt Ruby was rare and exciting and usually involved stories about adventures in some wild and exotic time and place. Not even a blockbuster starring the ultra-hot Caden Jamison King, one she'd been looking forward to seeing for months, could entice her away. Maddie went back inside. "It's obvious you have somewhere else to be, love," Ruby said. "So let's have a quick cuppa. I'll give you your present and you can get going." "Not on your life. I want to hear what you've been up to." Ruby snorted. "You're just saying that to flatter an old woman." It was Maddie's turn to snort. With her hair dyed in tomato red spikes, Aunt Ruby looked anything but old. And it wasn't quite the same hearing the story second-hand from her mother and sister. Ruby closed the front door. "Emma, it's me," she called out to Maddie's mum before heading to the kitchen. Maddie followed. Emma Lane leaned down over the stair rail. "Rubes, be right down." Ruby set her carpet bag down beside the dining table and flicked on the kettle. The bag was one of Maddie's earliest memories of her cool aunt and her spellbinding stories. She said it had been made from an ancient flying carpet, which meant, although it could no longer fly, it still had magical powers. Things disappeared inside, only to reappear months or years later. Maddie set out the teacups, willing her mother to hurry. "What kind of trouble at the airport?" she asked. "Beeper," Ruby said with a grimace, referring to the shadowy organisation, the Bureau for the Investigation and Impounding of Paranormal Articles, or Beeper, that had dogged their family for generations, desperate to get their hands on the various magical items the Bells and Lanes had collected over the centuries. "But," Ruby continued, "I was silly enough to climb inside the carpet bag to hide from their agents. Except I got carted off by airport security and nearly detonated as a safety precaution. I had a lot of explaining to do when I suddenly appeared from within my luggage." Maddie giggled. "It threw the Beeper agents off, though, thank goodness." Maddie stirred her aunt's tea and set it in front of her. What were they after? No idea. Probably just trying their luck. Ruby took out a red silk scarf from her bag and handed it to Maddie, who could feel something like a pen or pencil wrapped inside it. The fabric was printed with a scene of a mountain and a castle in darker red. "It's gorgeous," Maddie said. "Go on, unwrap it." Maddie pulled off the scarf and stared at the elaborately carved wand of petrified wood in her hand. Chills crept up her arms and into her shoulder blades. Wow. Choose your wishes wisely. The instructions are rather vague, but it seems to work if you say the word wish. And you only get 2 chances to use its magic before you must pass it on to someone else. "Pass what on to someone else?" Emma Lane asked as she entered the kitchen. "What have you given my daughter this time?" Maddie reluctantly held up the wand. "Is it real?" Emma asked. "I don't collect fakes," Ruby said. "I'm not sure it's such a good idea to give something like that to a child, Ruby," Emma continued. "Mum," Maddie complained, "I'm not a child." "Come on, Em." Ruby tapped a red fingernail on the table. "It's just a little wand, perfectly harmless. 2 wishes, that's all." "The last time you gave one of my daughters something harmless, Megan came home with a broken leg." "Blame that on Beeper, not me," Ruby said. "It's their interference that causes the most trouble. I've seen Megan take pretty good care of herself, thanks to you. What are you preparing these kids for anyway, if not for adventure?" "Yes," Maddie pleaded with her mother. As always, she felt a tad jealous when she thought of all the cool things her sister got to do. Ruby hadn't been interested in having children, so Megan was listed as her heir. There was a 5-year age gap between Megan and Maddie, and by the time Maddie had come along, Megan had already known she would one day follow in her aunt's footsteps, jet-setting across the globe on amazing quests. Meanwhile, Maddie was doomed to live in her shadow, probably flitting from one dead-end job to another to keep boredom at bay, like her mother did. It's basic self-defense, Ruby. Observation skills, awareness, nothing special. Exactly, Maddie said. Nothing special. I want more. I'm not you, Mum. She bit down on the words she wanted to say. It was just as her aunt had said. Sometimes she really did wish she could be the one to have an extraordinary adventure. Emma gave Maddie a long look and then sighed. Be sensible.